Multiple compositions. Now, I think the trickiest thing that students get hung over is the fact that there can be a composition within a composition. So in this case, I have a J, and it's going to be flying in and coming into focus. Now, maybe I just want that as a composition. It's strange, but it happens. Well, what I could do is click this and drag it down to this. Now I have a composition of a composition, and that's why I'm saying it's very hard to think that way. But if you look at the timeline, there's nothing on it except for this composition. There's no text layer. In order to get back to the text layer, I have to go back within the original composition. Now, when this happens, students get really lost, and it's only because you haven't named anything. Let's say I have this composition and it's going to be my main composition. Well, I can rename this main. Maybe this one, since it has this letter J and it flies in, this could be a title. Name title. Okay, so on main, I'm not seeing any of the actual text, but I am seeing this. Now, of course, it gets even more confusing when you tell a student that a composition of a composition can then be transformed. So you could imagine how quickly people digress in saying, well, I'll never learn After Effects. It's just impossible. It's the multiple composition thing that really gets students. But just know that if you keep a good naming convention down, you'll be all right. And just know where things are at. Like if I ever want to edit the text again, I have to go down to name title, double click it, and now I could change or add text to this. In this case, maybe I want to add a J. Well, I could go like this and take the original J and Command C, Command V it, and now I have another letter. This time, I want the letter A. Maybe I want to make it a little bit smaller. I could do that, but I would have to, do that with the font. In this case, I would say maybe 200 or 150. Okay. Now the animation of that A is being controlled, and you can see that it's coming in on the side and then floating down and then going all the way around, and it's doing some wacky stuff. So the A has its own positioning, and you can see that positioning starts here to here. So I would have to probably wipe out the positioning for it, and I could delete multiple keyframes like that. In this case, the A needs to start somewhere else. Let's say the A needs to start here, or maybe here. So I'm going to key that as a position starting. And when the J gets into position, what I would want is the A to fly in. Like that. Now, if I wanted to swoop in, I could go like this and then drag this down, and you can see that that would affect its path, and now it swoops in and lines up. Perfect. All right, to view this in the final composition, I can now close these up, and you can see why you would make a composition of a composition, because after a while of having all these different layers and all these different effects, it gets very confusing. So in main now, you can see that's updated. I only have one title, and there it is. So now that is a composition within a composition. Enjoy. Let's go on to the next video.